Now we have to cover the span of the basketball court with these trusses here, and we need to cover this. There are different ways to do that, so I'm going to show you what I would do just to, well, not what I would do. I'm going to explain how to do something that probably it's something that you can do in Revit. Anyway, let's start. I want to explore different options in Revit. So I'm going to work with curved beams. Okay, so so far we have worked with straight beams. They are tilted, but they are not, this is not a curve. Okay, so we end up having here a shape that it's not a plane, but we don't have any curves. So let's introduce a curved element here, and then we're going to repeat this curved element, adapting this to the geometry of the truss, but we're not going to use a beam system. Okay, so I'm going to explore different options for different bays we have here, and let's we will at the end we will decide what option is the best. Okay, so we're going to start working with curved elements, and then we're going to create like a beam system out of curved elements from this to this. First, well, I have here different levels. If I don't, yep, so the top of the truss is level 31. I don't like this actually, so I'm going to call this level 39. Okay, so that's the top of the truss, the top chord of the truss, and I'm going to create like an arc here. But first I have to find out what grid we are working with. So those are the trusses, remember, so the truss starts at grid B and it goes all the way up to grid F. Okay, so I'm going to start my drawing at grid B. So I go to the north elevation again, I have this elevation, and I want to start here beam. Okay, so I'm going to select structure, beams, and yep. So first I have to select the placement plane. You see here. So I'm going to select grid B. Okay, so now we are working on grid B, and now I'm going to create a curve with this. I would use this option, start in radius. Okay, so click on this option, and I'm going to start here. I'm going to end here, and then I can decide the radius, something like that. Well, this beam is too thick. Remember that now we are going to create a beam system. So the beam system is always, or the elements of the beam of a beam system are always thinner than the original. So this is too thick. So I can select this one, or I don't know, let's try. This is American Standard S510. Let me try this, white flange 8 and 18. Well, we have to calculate that, but let's use the American Standard. This one. Yeah, it looks good. So let's see the 3D model. Okay. Well, I changed my mind. I think this is too thin. So I'm going to use the 818. So now we're going to repeat this because I want to create a beam system, and each beam will be at the top of this vertical element of the truss. Okay. To do this, I want to copy this many times. How many times? So I have to count all the vertical elements that we have in this beam. Let's do it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so there are 23 vertical elements in this truss. So this is the first beam. So I have to copy this 22 times. How can I do that? Because I don't know the distance. I could try to annotate and find out the distance between vertical elements. But if I don't want to know the distance and I want to copy this different times and I want to make sure that each beam is at the top of this vertical element, how can I do? So I can go to level 39. I can select this and I'm going to use this option, array. Okay, I use array. And now I want to move, I can select second or last. Okay, so if I select this option last, I will copy this. This is the first point, this is the last point, and then I can select the number of elements that I have here. I select the first, the last, and then it will be distributed between the first and the last element. How many? I think there were 23, so I'm going to type 22. So I select the first point at this grid, the last point at this grid, and you see that we have 22 elements here. If I look at the 3D view, I have to check, yeah, that each component of this beam system is just on the top of this vertical element here. So that's a way to do this. So I can draw the first element, and then I can use array and copy it as many times as I need it, and making sure that it's always matching here. Can I make sure that? Oh, okay. So looking at this, apparently it's not what I wanted. Yeah, probably because I need one element more. I copied 22 times and probably I need 23. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, I'm going to undo this. I go back to level 39. I select this one. I select array and move to the last, and it's not 22, it's 23. See what happens. The first point, last point. Okay, 3D. I use this elevation. Yep, now it's perfect. Okay, so it's 23, not 22. Sorry. So this is very important in steel structures. You see how everything is meeting, all these axes are meeting at this point. The same thing should happen with this. Okay, so it's important that at this point, you see here, all the elements are meeting at the same point. If they are not, there will be structural issues, can be solved, but the structure probably we would need thicker elements to solve this. If you have studied something about structures, if all the elements meet at the same point, the structure works better. Okay, so this is the first way to do it. There are different ways. I'm going to show you something different, and let's then we can decide what we can do. If I go to level 39, I can cover that span with two different yeah, imagine that now I want to create a beam system with a different direction. Okay, here we have this beam that matches this grid line. Here we have another one, so that beam is matching this grid line and this one. Okay, so I'm going to use these three beams. I'm going to copy this one, and this one. Okay, I'm going to copy it from this point to that point. Okay, so we have three beams here on the 3D view. We have that. And now I'm going to create beam systems in the other direction. I don't like this option, but well, just to explore different options, let's do it. We are on level 39. We can use structure, beam system. In this case, it's difficult. I can't use an automatic beam system, or maybe I can. Yeah, I think I can. If you hover your mouse just here, what we can't do is to change the direction. You see that we can only use this direction, which is fine because this is what I want. I want to use the first beam, then the second beam, and then the third beam. Okay, let's do this. There you go. Okay, let's see the. Well, this is not what we want actually, because the beam system is not adapted to the curve. So remember that we have to use the 3D, and if we use the 3D option, we click OK, it's not working. Interesting. Okay. Well, for some reason, I couldn't click on 3D before completing it, but I have done it now. Okay, I'll do it again. Remember that we're on level 39. I am going to create a beam system. I can create an automatic beam system, but only in this direction. So I create. So you hover your mouse here close to this beam, and the beam system shows up. You see, it doesn't happen when we are working with these horizontal elements. It only works in this direction. Okay, let's do it. Well, let's do it. And then let's go to the 3D view. Beam system, and 3D view. Okay, I'm going to click finalize the beam system. It's here. And once we have the horizontal one, I make sure that I select the beam system, and then I click on 3D. And then we adapt this shape to this. If we want more elements, you know that here we have fixed number of lines 6. I can make it 8. And now I have more elements here. Okay, so those are 2 different ways to solve that. I think the first one was better, so I like this one better than that one. That it depends. The important thing is that this one is matching this vertical So this is the only thing that matters. Is there a different way to do this? There's always a different way to do things in Revit. So let's try a different way to cover that span using curved beams, but working with this bay here. The third way, and probably the most complicated one, would be to use a truss. First, we're going to create a roof here. Then we're going to create a truss. We're going to edit the truss family. And then we are going to adapt the truss to the shape that we have created there. It sounds terrible and complicated, but it's quite simple. Let's talk about, or let's change to the north elevation. And first, we can do this, but imagine that we're trying something different. So first, I'm going to work with a roof following the same curve here, okay? And I'm going to use architecture roof by extrusion. Okay, so it's not roof by footprint, it's roof by extrusion. That means that we have to create a shape here. Well, you have the drawings here. Yes. So we have to create a shape here, and then by extrusion, we move it, or we complete the roof. Okay, let's do it. If we're working with roof, select by extrusion. Level, it's level 39. Yes. But now we have to set the work plane. Okay. Remember that we are working on grid B. So by default, well, by default, because we have already set this, we're working on grid B. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use this start in radius arc. This is the start. This is the end, and the radius. To do something different because I want to trace exactly the same shape I have here. So this is the start, this is the end, and there you go. And now I can move it, I can select this, and I can move this here. And I click OK. And by default, I have created this roof here. Okay, so this is a 5-inch roof that I created before. And see what we have done with the 3D view. Okay, so you see that we have created a solid roof here. Actually, I want to move it up a little because I want to. Yeah. So you see that I want the roof to start not here, but at the top of this chord. That means that I have to use the level offset. No, let's try with 10 inches, a little more, probably 1 foot. 1 foot and 2 inches. Okay. You see that we are starting the roof here. And now I'm going to create beams, and I'm going to attach the shape of beam to this roof. Unfortunately, we cannot do this using the structure beam element. I can do it. Why? Who knows? Probably in next Revit versions, we can have this option of adapting beams to the roof shape. We don't have this option in Revit 2022, so we have to work with structural trusses. And you know that we have selected this truss. This is a truss that we have used to do this. And I told you that, well, here we have this Fernando flat truss because I have done it before. So I'm going to show you why I did this truss, and then how to do it. Okay, so because I have modified the original family. But imagine that you're using this truss, since you're working with this template that I uploaded on Canvas, then you can select it. Okay, so let's select this one, and I want to go to level 29. And yeah, so here I have the roof, and I'm going to go from, where's the grid line? No, it's here, from grid line number 4 to grid line number 5. So I'm starting here and there. The element is not visible, but let's see what we have done in the 3D view. So on the 3D view, we have this terrible thing. Okay, we have a truss here. And if we apply some transparency, okay. Yeah, so this is a truss. What I want to do now is to attach top bottom, and I'm going to attach this truss to this roof. Profile. Okay. Why is it happening? Because the truss level should be underneath the roof level. So the roof level is level 39, and the truss level is level 39. So I'm going to change this to level 15. Okay. So if I select this, if I attach top bottom, yep, this is what I wanted to see. Okay, you see how now the shape has been adapted to this. The only thing is that I have the top chord and the bottom chord. I don't want the bottom chord, so I can just create bottom chord. Just do not select this, and it disappears, and I only have the top chord. Okay, now I can edit type, and on the top chord, we have this shape, and here we can change it. I think I used this 818 apply. Yeah, there you go. So now on the north elevation, this beam is the same as that one. Okay. Does it make sense? I mean, using this option, in this case, it doesn't make sense because working with this curved and copying it or using the array, I think it's much easier. We could only use this option if this were not a roof created by extrusion. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. First, I'm going to repeat this because I know it might be difficult, especially the first time. So I'm going to show you how to do it again. So let's go to level 39. I'm going to create a truss. I'm going to select this Fernando flat standard truss, whatever. And I want to start this grid line, and I want to end at this one. Okay. On the 3D view, we have this element here. If now it's underneath and from the north elevation, just we have to make sure that this is below the roof level. Okay, so if I select this now and I attach top bottom, then I select the roof. Yep, now it should work. Yeah, you see that here we have the truss, and the only thing I have to, I don't want to select this create a bottom chord, and now it disappears, and I have this. Okay, if I'm working with level 39 and I have this truss and I copy this element from this point to, whoop, I need a reference line here. Okay, because I want to, again, I want to make sure that these trusses are matching with the vertical elements of the truss. So I copy this from this point to this point, and I delete. Yeah, so now you see how this element is matching with this, with this vertical. But you can tell me, okay, this is too complicated. I agree. But using this option of the truss is the only way we can do something like that if we want to work with a roof that it's not extruded, a roof that that changes its shape along that bay. And this is what I'm going to do next. Okay, so now I'm going to, well, we have used 3 different options to cover this base, but I'm going to use something completely different out of the box to cover this one. Okay, and I'm going to use the massing and side. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to try to create a truss, and I'm going to adapt the truss shape to the shape of the roof. But in this case, this roof is not going to be just a roof by extrusion like this one. It's going to be a roof that is different, and it has a shape here at the beginning, and it has it has a different shape there at the end. Okay, so let's work with the north. I think where am I? Okay, I'm here. So I'm here between grids 1 and 2. And I'm going to use the massing and side to create the roof. Okay, I'm going to use in place mass. Mass 5. Okay. I'm going to set the work plane. Remember that we're working from grid B to grid F, so we can start at grid B. Okay, and I'm going. You can do whatever, whatever you feel like here. We don't want to go too crazy, so I'm going to use arches. This is the first point. This is the, I want to snap here. This is start, end. Okay, so this is the start. This is the end. And I'm going to use 2 different radius. So this one on grid B. And now I'm going to set the work plane at grid F. Okay, and I'm going to use the same start and radius. This is the start, this is the end, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a different arc here. Okay, before clicking finish, I want to see what we have done. Okay, so we have this shape here and we have a different shape there. Now we want to create a mass from this line to this line. Remember that we have to click on modify, that we have to click here, press Control, click there. So you have to select two things at the same time. We can create a form, a solid form, and there you go. So we have a mass here, the transparent mass, and now we can finish the mass this way. Okay. If we have this, there is no way to create shapes or create beams, a beam system that it's adapting to this weird shape, because it's not extrusion. It's something that has a shape here at the beginning and a different shape at the end. So that's the only way I know. So we have to work with trusses, and then we have to attach to the top, and then the shape of the truss will be adapted to the shape of the roof. First, we have to turn this into a roof. This is a mass, so I can't attach a beam or I can't attach a truss to a mass. I have to create a roof. So remember that we have to go to Massing and Site, roofs. I have to select this, and I have to create a roof. Okay, so now I have this shape, and on the north elevation, we see we can move it up. Say, I think it was 1 foot 2 inches before. 1 foot 2 inches. Yes, I've gone up. And I can get rid of the mass. We can hide it, or I'm going to delete it, okay? Because I just need the roof. North elevation here. Okay, so now if I want to adapt a beam system to this roof, I have to do it with trusses. So let's work with level 39. I am here. Well, we have this weird section here. So this is the roof that I have just created. And I'm going to work with this truss structure, truss, this standard lambda flat truss. And I want to go from grid 1 to grid 2. Okay. Now, north elevation. What the hell is that? Let's do it again. Truss from grid 1 to grid 2. Okay, this is a 3D view. Let's go to the north elevation. Remember that we have to move it downwards. Okay, so make sure that the truss is underneath the roof level. Then we have to do this, attach top, bottom, select the roof. And now we have this. And remember that we have to remove the bottom chord. There you go. And now this is the 3D view. Okay, so now this truss is adapted to this shape. What if we want to create a beam system like this, but here all the elements are the same, but here all the elements should be different? How can we do that? If everything works well, I can copy this. So I have selected this one and this one. These two are lined up. What if I copy from this point to that point? Okay, so now I want to select on the north elevation. You see that I have copied it, but by default, it's not adapted to the roof shape. So I can to attach top, and now it is. Okay. So this is it. If I want to continue to do this on level 39, I can select this truss. I can copy multiple, and I'm going to copy this multiple times, and then I have to go one by one, adapting. Okay, to stop now. And then from the north elevation, I select this and attach to the roof. Then I select this and attach to the roof. Then I select this, attach to the roof. Okay, so now all these beams are attached to the roof, and I'm creating a beam system with all the elements are different. It's not the same. Here all the elements are the same, but here all the elements are different because the roof is changing its shape at each section. Okay, so you can continue to do this until you okay. So remember that we have done the same thing with different ways. So here I have created a curved beam, and then I have copied it. Then here I have copied 3 curved beams, and then I have used a beam system in a different direction. Here I have created a roof by extrusion, and then I have used the truss, and then I have attached the truss to the roof. And the fourth one is to create a roof using the massing and site, and then we can do the same. We can work with trusses, and then I can adapt the top chord of the truss to the roof itself. Okay. So what do I want? You have to submit this, and you have to show me that you have explored all the options, that you have explored the meter or the miter. You have explored the notch or the cope, that you know how to create a roof like this, that it's not flat or it's not a plane. And then you have to show me that you can cover that span in 4 different ways. Okay, we are not done with this project. We will continue to work with this project because I want to create something for the facade, something special. We will work with curtain walls, and then we will work with a double skin, and we will create something fun for the double skin. Okay, if we look at double skin facades, yeah, I want to do something like that. Okay, so here we have a flat curtain wall inside, but outside we have something like this. Okay, so that would be the next step. We have explored some possibilities for the roof, and I will explore some possibilities for the facade. Okay, so we will work with a curtain wall inside, and then outside there will be a double skin with something weird like that. So I have to find some examples, and yeah, I think this is too complicated probably. So we will try to do something like this with some volume, and you see that we have different shapes in this double skin. So this is what we're going to do next. Oh, I didn't show you how to work or how to change truss family. Okay, if you start with the standard truss. Okay, and we can double click here. And if you select the truss, we can edit family. There are different ways to edit a truss. We will explore all these elements later, but today we're going to edit the family. So if we edit the family, we open the family, the truss family. So here we have this truss, and you see that there's a top chord, bottom chord, there's a vertical web, and there's a diagonal web. And what did I do? Well, I did something very simple and very radical. So I just selected all these, deleted, and I left just the top chord. Okay. And then I saved this as a family. And here you see that, well, I have saved this with these two trusses. Okay, so that's why you can save this as a different name. Truss. Top chord. I'm very bad at naming things. And now we save it, and then we load into the project. It's important that we don't overwrite the original truss. Okay, so now we have load into the project, and I have this truss top chord, and I have the Fernando flat truss. Okay, so this is what I did. Just select the truss, edit the family, erase all the elements except the top chord, and then save it with a different name, and then load it into the project. And you have a truss with only the top chord, and this is what we want, because we are not actually working with trusses. We are working with beam systems, but it's a fake beam systems because it's made of top chords of trusses. But that's the only way. I know it sounds a little crazy, but if you want to adapt a beam system to a roof that has a shape like that has a shape here and a different shape here, that's the only way I have I wish we could do that with a simple beam and then adapting the beam, but it doesn't work. I've tried many times and it doesn't